What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I've got some data I want to go over. I normally don't get this kind of raw financial breakdown on this channel, but it's something that I'm very concerned about. It's something that just not enough people are talking about. I saw this tweet this morning where it said something like 75%. Let me actually pull it up real quick. 70% of millennials, let me put it up on the screen. 70% of millennials say they are pro-socialist. I don't believe the number's that high, but you know, let's just go past that. We need to do better than simply dismiss them by saying that they are stupid or entitled or brainwashed. Should try to understand why, from Peter Thiel. I can tell you why. It's the economy, stupid. This country has been flooded by 50 million illegals. All have to live somewhere. They're living in houses. They're living in apartments. They're driving up the cost of rent, which takes more money out of every American's pocket. We pay more and more in taxes. I mean, the average American pays like, I don't know what it is, 35% tax or something like that. That means for the first 110 days of the year, you're working for the government. Think about that. I pay almost 50% tax. So for the first 6 months of the year, I'm giving money to the government to piss away and spend on nonsense. And the reason these people are more open to the free stuff narrative is because they've been totally demoralized. And it's really time to stop making fun of them and start looking at why this is. Well, just in, the U.S. shed 32,000 jobs in November. Now, is this from the layoffs? Probably part of it. Is this AI replacements? Probably. You know, India gained 32,000 jobs in November. This is going to continue. People are going to keep getting laid off. But this is the number that is the most concerning to me that people just keep ignoring. 95% of Black Friday sales were financed. Now that can be misleading because very few people actually use cash anymore these days. But 67% of that will not be paid off within 30 days. This is a problem. Breakdown of the Black Friday data tells us some things. First of all, the consumer is weakening. This we know. I could tell you that based on, coffee sales. This year we have our advent calendars. They're selling. We'll sell through the 500 we have, but that's why I only made 500 and not 5,000. 2 years ago or a year ago, I made like 3,000 of these and they all sold. This year I made 500 because I knew, and I was right. They're selling, but nowhere near in the numbers that they were before. 95% of sales volume was financed. 67% is not intended to pay off in the next 30 days. Roughly, now this is the one that scares me. Roughly $1 billion was spent using buy now, pay later models, which are, of course, the worst kind of debt. This points to a, quote, really unhealthy economy. These questions keep coming up in the comments. To quick fire context. Yes, 95% does include credit cards. That's fine. It's the 67% who think they can't pay it off in the term that's bad, which is what I said too. Historically, that 67% is 20%. So normally 20% of people say, well, I'll have to take to January or February to pay this off. That's now nearly 70% of all Americans. This data also does not include in-store financing offers, like 0 interest for X months, nor store-specific credit cards or partnerships that offer specialty financing. The data does not count Visa debit cards as financing. And yes, I'm glad you are super responsible and pay off your credit card, get points, but most consumers are not. That's why credit card companies make money. Every time you point this kind of stuff out, inevitably too, my comments will fill with people who are saying I'm crazy. They only take the 0%, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, how big is my audience in reference to the United States population, right? I might have 50 to 100,000 regular viewers. There's 400 million people here in America. Maybe my viewers are a little bit better with their money, but most people aren't. Most people don't understand how anything works, by the way, in this society. The This also said, this also does not include car data as retail stats. So that, quote, finance percent would actually get higher if it was all purchased by volume, but car financing is different. And for those complaining about what do you mean 67% was 20%, quote, normally, Grok will point out to you that the past analysis shows 28 to 36% of people fail to pay off debt in the average holiday season. Some portion of those obviously expected to be able to. So you see this based on 2024, 2025 surveys from NerdWallet, Bankrate, and LendingTree. The typical percentage of holiday shoppers not paying off credit card balances within the first month or carrying debt is around 28 to 36. It's now 67 just a year later. Notable that Black Friday data shows a 9.1% increase in spend from last year. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Remember, stuff is more expensive now. Everything's more expensive now. And also, Americans will go into debt for Christmas. We know this. It's not good, but they do. It's not good, but I have. It's not good, but I have family members that do. It's a terrible, terrible habit, but it's one that is shared by most Americans. A 1%, you only have here you have 9.1% increase in spend, but listen to this. A minus 1% in total items. So that means people bought less stuff, but it cost 9% more. Prices were 7% higher. Consumers bought on average 4.1% fewer items. And an 11% increase on buy now, pay later use. Klarna specific use is up 45% by volume since last year. Roughly 11% of all Black Friday spending was financed through buy now, pay later, and 84% of purchases were financed by credit cards. Again, I'm not so freaked out about the credit card stuff. I use credit cards for almost everything. I've started to carry cash around a little bit more, but I don't carry much. And I try to pay off my balances every month. I don't always, but I know that a lot of my viewers and other people are religious about getting their points and they pay off their balance every month. But most people in America can't or don't. Overall, a total of 95% of Black Friday shopping was financed. 67%, which was $8 billion, was financed on debt that consumers do not expect to be able to pay off in the next 30 days, meaning credit card companies are going to make a buttload of money in January, February, and March. You see here, again, like everybody says, you're reaching, dude. I pay for everything by credit card. Yes, congratulations. You also pay $15 a month for a blue check mark on X. You clearly have expendable income. It's so easy for us to get caught in our own bubbles. I don't say stuff like this because I think part of it is that I hang out with actual people, and obviously I read my comments and I talk to actual viewers, and I don't say stupid crap like, well, just because my situation's this way, everyone else's situation must be. This guy did get ratioed a bit. Congratulations, you're part of the 33% of well-off / responsible credit card users that he literally mentioned in the post in saying that 67% plan to not be able to pay it off, meaning 33% are. Not reaching. Data sets are available for those who care. Viewing the world through your own experience and ignoring the rest is not reality. Assuming all pay on time is such a disconnect from reality that I'm shocked. I think I've been one of the few like Trump friendly people, commentators who have continually been sounding the alarm on this for the past 6 months. It's not good out there. Stuff is expensive. Like I said, I've laid people off and I'm still looking at making other cuts in 2026. My wife and I sat down yesterday, went through streaming services, went through, lawn services. I'm like, you know what? Things were better in 2024, 2025. I paid somebody to mow my lawn. That was nice. But it costs $150 every 2 weeks. So for $300 a month, maybe I just buy, while things are okay still, I buy a lawnmower and I do it myself. What's the payback period on that? Well, $300 a month. I start mowing my lawn probably in April. So March. So March, April, May, June, July, August, September. 7 months times 300 is $2,100 a year. Okay. In 3 years, I can pay off a $6,000 mower, which is a really nice mower. You get a really nice zero turn for that. And in 4 years, I'm no longer paying $150 every 2 weeks to have my lawn mowed. You know, pool service. This was something I was happy to pay for when I had a bigger, more lucrative deal, you know, and all this kind of stuff. But, you know, when I look at that, I don't write ignorant stuff on social media and say like, well, I'm paying for stuff, so everyone else. I'm like, dang, if I'm tightening my belt, it must be really hard out there for people who aren't as lucky to be able to sit and read X posts for a living. With Klarna, which is their buy now, pay later, seeing a 50% increase, that's not because things are good. That's not because people are saying, you know, gaming the system and taking advantage of 0% interest. Trump has a real economic problem that I don't know if he's going to have time to fix by the midterms. Ticking time bomb leverage grows by 45% during the shopping season. That's now, right? It's buy now, pay never. That's what most of these people who use these services do. It's like taking out a payday loan, but they make it easy because they put it on your, they make an app or whatever the case is. Trump has to really, really buckle down. I know he's doing things in that, and I know that it's going to take time for some of the changes that he made to like reach Main Street, but these are scary numbers for me. You know, and by the way, as November 24th, millions of Americans are defaulting on loans. The issue is put in a sharp relief by New York Fed's most recent household debt and credit report, which showed that household debt hit a record $18.6 trillion in the third quarter of 2025, having climbed $228 billion since the second quarter. Does that sound healthy to you? Credit card balances alone jumped $24 billion, reaching an all-time high, while the share of balances in serious delinquency, 90% past due, climbed to a near financial crash level of 7.1. The economy is not good. And I don't care how many Indians tell you on X that they're hardcore MAGA and that things are going good. They aren't. Trump's got to get on his horse and stop worrying about basically everything. Otherwise, the midterms are going to be disaster.